Alright, we're back. We're back. That's 5 times now. It's gone down to 0 kbps. So like I was saying, Hayden, if furry is just a light little hobby to you, where it's just like, yeah, I enjoy this, it's up to you. I mean, it's less important if you want to share. But if this is a furry is super important to me, this is who I am, part of my identity, and then your friend still rejects you, then you can find new friends. I mean, that's why I'm saying, like, which of these is more important to you? If your friend is super important to you, like, and has been with you through thick and thin, I would hope that they would accept you regardless, but is it worth risking? Jack Fox with the accent redeem. Yes, we can do this. Probably just going to give them away to friends. Would you like a copy? I have a copy of Diablo 3. I've had a copy of Diablo 3 for like, I feel like almost 10 years now. But thank you for the offer. You have no idea what language that is? It is backwards. They were printing the message backwards, which does not exempt them from the fact that I said, don't ask about that, don't do it. Had it since launch too. I haven't had it that long. I got it like maybe a couple of months after launch of Diablo 3, just because I heard a lot of people having issues with logging in. It was yellow. I mean, and then there was the whole issue of higher difficulties making it like not fun to play beyond a certain point, and then they changed it because people were quitting the game, and then it got a lot better. It used to be that like after a certain number of playthroughs that the like any random boss would just destroy you. Not even the like story bosses. Yeah, Inferno difficulty would be super challenging because of the resistance penalty that you would get across the board. Plus the bosses would all be like, yeah, every time you hit them, they would suddenly spawn lightning bolts or leave fire trails or something like that. Sometimes bites? Generally no. Oh, you're going to bed? Going to bed, Coyote? Where's my subtitles? Oyasumi nasai, Coyote-san. Yoku nette kudasai. Maybe it was only because I asked you to. I will bite on request sometimes. Can I ask how being a sound engineer is? It is sometimes a lot of work because you have to go early, set up microphones, set up direct input boxes for instruments. You have to set up mic stands. You have to familiarize with yourself with the board. You have to sometimes tune speakers, like connect amps and such. And that's sometimes I had like an hour of prep work before rehearsal. So good night, some Coyote.
We're gay like a fox.
Baby Ryan with the follow. Thank you for the follow there. But after that, like the actual work during performances or recordings is not so bad. It's about having a good ear, especially with modern sound engineering tools. You have a lot of frequency analyzers that will help you deal with frequency spikes and such. But then you may have another hour of breakdown after the performance or recording. You have to put all the stuff away. You gotta put all the mic stands away, all the microphones, all the cabling, all the DI boxes and hookups. It can be a lot of work, but you know, if you're trained in it, it helps. When I first joined the fandom, I thought people thought that I was weird. Other people, yeah. I still have people who don't know what a furry is properly. Like, even one of my best friends was like, oh yeah, if you're going to be wearing the like fox ears and tail and stuff, like, I don't want to hang around with you. And then finally I had to ask him like why, because I said that hurts a lot for you to say that. And he's like, oh, because it's a sexual thing, right? Like, you're totally talking about like flaunting what you want to do in the bedroom. And I'm like, no, why would you think that? Like, where did you get that idea? He's like, oh, I totally thought it was like being a furry was like an S&M thing. I'm like, no. No, not at all. Like, so there's a lot of misconceptions of what being a furry is. And, you know, if people have an adverse reaction to furries, you're possibly going to be able... Girlfriend wearing a Princess Leia costume for Halloween. If you're talking about Slave Leia, then yes, that is pretty kinky. But, so, I mean, generally there's going to be two possibilities. CSI? Did CSI talk about furries? You like fox ears? I love fox ears. Like, I was wearing those even before I had foxtails. Like, I just put the fox ears on. I thought it was cute. But yeah, I mean, people who like are anti-furry generally either have that misconception about what it is. They like equate it with bestiality or some other kind of like non-consensual relationships, or they are like anti-LGBTQIA+. Some people use furry as a dog whistle for being anti-furry. You know, there's a room full of fursuiters in a pile humping. Ah. Lucky, quote-unquote lucky, I guess. I mean, just because I don't watch TV a lot doesn't mean that I'm that new to the fur fandom. I'll get to your question in just a moment, Phoenix. Top screen, difference between Abunai and Yabai. Sure. My dad used to do sound for the worship meeting at the church I used to go to. Hated having to get up at 6 a.m. to get there at 8 a.m. Sometimes we got to the church at 7:30, left at 3, and I hated especially if I had to do chores home after I couldn't have fun or schoolwork. Yeah, well, I mean, if it's going to take that much time, sure, I can see that leaving kind of a bad taste in your mouth, Raven. I used to wear kitty ears to school until I got them taken off me by a teacher and they got lost. Yeah. I mean, part of the problem is just that schools are sometimes, people feel that they can be jerks because it's school, like middle school, high school, and people have low expectations of it. Oh, but when you said you found them relative to CSI episode, you're pretty new. I mean, I wouldn't say that that is like fandom defining. It's just kind of an unfortunate. Sorry that my friend said that to you. Well, I mean, they eventually came around when I had that conversation with them. So that's what I mean, Hayden, that if somebody's going to have that kind of reaction to you telling them that you're a furry, or them seeing you with ears and a tail, like, if you can explain that, and if they're willing to listen, if they really are your friend, they'll understand and believe you when you say that it is an identity that means something to you, that helps sort of define who you are and what you like, and may have zero connection to any kind of sexual antics. So yeah, my friend came around and they're like, yeah, it's your thing and doesn't bother me now. I mean, I'm actually pretty well known for it now. In fact, a lot of people, when they see me, depending on what angle they're approaching me from, they're like, wait, I don't see your foxtail. Like, oh, okay, there it is. They expect my foxtail to be somewhere. Anyone who was afraid at that time would have heard about or known about the CSI episode. Yeah, maybe. Do you ever consider a different species for Sona? I think I just started out as a cat because, like, as far as animal costumes go, like, cats are probably one of the most accessible ones because cat ears and cat tails, cat suits, cat disguises are pretty common, even in mainstream, like, Halloween kind of thing. So that's where I started, but then I'm like, kind of feel that way, but I mean, foxes are just so much more amazing to me than cats. No offense to my 4 cats that I have. Some schools have crappy dress codes and others are more open but still highly restricted. My high school had dress code that basically said yes to being creative but no to actually being comfortable in hot weather in mid, late spring, or early fall. Yeah, I mean, some schools will be like, oh yeah, you can wear stuff, but it has to be at least a certain length. Like, skirts and shorts, like, could not go more than... Like, skirts had to be over the knee in some schools, and shorts had to be no more than, like, 2 or 3 inches above the knee. Where's my tail usually? No, I'm just saying that if my tail's behind me, which means that if they approach me from the front, they wonder if I'm wearing my tail because it's behind me. They can't see. This episode was a huge deal for fandom members, fan long ago. Well, I mean, if the CSI episode is a fandom-defining event, then so is Rainforest. Because, you know, we still don't hear the end of that. Really bumping precision. Not sure if you had the chance to answer. Yeah, I was bouncing through. No. I'm getting to it. Discussion was getting pretty busy. So you're saying the Abunai. So you're saying yabai. Like, that's more like an oh crap. Or shoot. That's more of a yabai. Phoenix. Whereas this is actually like you are in danger. Like you will get hurt or could die. That kind of danger. Another version of this is a similar one, kiken. Notice it has the same kanji. Whereas this is like, oh, oof, that's bad. Or, oh no. Now, if you want something a little more mild, then you can go with something like a darn. Actually, more of this like, oh crap, or ooh, that's bad. Whereas this is more like a shoot. Shimatta. I learned to ignore people mainly because the fact I was openly bisexual and lots of people ask me every week if I'm still gay. Which I'm not gay, like most genders when I stop, but sometimes happen. About to leave high school. Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of people who, like, don't get it. And sometimes they're not willing to learn the difference. They just be like, oh, yeah, whatever. Like, blah, 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 blah. Like, they don't actually want to listen to you. I mean, especially if they're older. Like, I'm probably not going to bother explaining to, like, well, my grandparents are all gone, but, like, aunts and uncles and such, probably not going to bother. Wrongly, cats are the best. Cats are cute. Cats are good. Foxes are the best. Just saying. You just got your suit today. Nice. Cool. Who is it by? Like, I wonder a lot about who I might commission a suit from, because everyone seems to be busy. Everyone seems to be, like, have their commissions closed. I wish we would hear the end of that. Yeah, I wish we would too, because it's not one incident by a small group of people should not define the entire fandom. How's the weather here? Well, I mean, considering it's almost 10 p.m., it's going to be a little chilly. I heard for some reason that it meant dangerous or something like that. It's close. I mean, when you're saying, ooh, sore yabai, that could mean that you're running late. Or, oh, I'm going to lose a lot of money. It's not physically dangerous. The situation just could be really bad. You can see that there could be definitely some overlap between that's dangerous, look out, and that's bad. But they are not the same thing. Overlap, yes. Same thing, no. Joined the furry fandom after Rainforest ended, but I still have people in Seattle who go furry crap because of the Rainforest, and I hate it because I wasn't in the fandom then. Yeah, 2015, I believe. Starskunk says that he was there. Not part of it, but he was, like, hosting events and stuff, so yeah, that sucks. You could argue that, I guess, not really the same thing. It feels like you're arguing about something that you weren't around for someone who was, but that might be my mood misreading what you're saying. I'm just saying that I'm saying both of them are events that should not define the fandom, but people who don't have a lot of information about it say, well, that's all I heard, and therefore that's colors my entire perception of what the fandom is. I'm saying both of those things should not be defining because they are almost like rogue elements. Not even, like, mainstream furries. Hey, Blackjack. Fox says a mini-me now? I apparently do. Mr. Blackjack. I will not destroy the world if you give me $1 million. Remember as a comic on Foxtrot's being the best? See, there you go. I love watching people equate being LGBT, trans species, and a furry to mental health, and watch them fail as they point out my mental issues have nothing to do with my identity and suicide. Well, I mean, usually it's people not understanding. It's usually comes out from ignorance of they heard something or they just make assumptions not based on any kind of proof. Something what I meant by the CSI episode being a fandom defining event. But I mean, what I'm saying is that yes, a lot of people watch that, and for some people it defines the fandom for them, but people actually in the fandom are saying, no, that's crap, or that is a very small portion of what happens. Statistics and studies have been taken that said that 16% of furries have like sex or sex parties or sex hookups as like the primary reason why they're in the fandom. Therefore, portrayals of furries in that way as being what the whole fandom is like is a misrepresentation. That's what I'm saying. Good Italianer? I don't think you should probably point it out that way. Not best me. All right, we can drop the subject if you would like to explain it a different way. French accent? Yes. Okay, we'll drop the subject because we're misunderstanding each other. Another news, my car's fixed. I'm getting it back tomorrow. Bad news, I'm signing up for all the overtime I can get, and my May is probably going to have 2 off days. Wow. Well, make sure you get enough sleep. You may have to tighten the belt as far as like going out and doing fun things. The most fun you may have is getting a good night's sleep. Okay, sad emote. I was going to say, why do you have a dad emote, Tetsuneko? Trying to be more positive, so this Halloween I'm going to dress as Yes Foratu. Is that a vampire with like a really big smile? Latin Vixen? Oh, okay. I've never heard of them, but that's kind of cool. Yeah, here you go. Yeah, okay, that's cute. 3,000 total for the car repair and then 450 for the rentals. What? Your insurance company didn't cover the rentals? Like, they usually give you an allowance for that while your car is being repaired. Yikes. I had a customer try to buy a bagel with cream cheese, totally only kept cash. Wah wah. Alright, so we have the uwu voice up first, then the French. It wasn't an accident? Yeah, but still. This was repair, I had to cover everything. But how did it get damaged? I assume the damage was an accident or somebody did it to you. Your insurance should cover that. Up at night thinking, how can my feet smell if they don't have a nose? Yeah, I used to make that joke in English class when I was teaching in Japan. I said, English is weird. Noses run and feet smell. It's a little backwards, isn't it? All right, I'm always hurts me slightly to have to do the uwu voice, but okay. is an ABS actuator replacement? Yeah, but if you're replacing it because it needs to be done, I mean, sometimes your car manufacturer will pay for things like, I have a Prius, and Toyota paid for like an airbag replacement that had to be done because there was a possible failure to deploy for airbags, and so they did that all themselves. Maintenance? Oh. Yeah, if it's not a part failure, if it's not a recall, then yeah, that does kind of suck. Were you in the fandom during the Wayne Force thing? Sort of. I mean, I'm talking about, I was just about leaving Japan back then, Foxes, and I was starting to dress up as a cat back then. So technically part of the fandom woo, but technically it wasn't until I moved back. Blurst? Well, you can thank Jack for that, Oppenheimer. Famous recalling the airbag check, but apparently the car drives like new. I just went to look at the uptime on the stream, saw 20 minutes, like, wait, what? I remember crash. Yeah, it wasn't a crash so much as a, as, I don't know, is this a Twitch thing, or is it an OBS thing? Did you hear about back when it happened? Nope, because I was in Japan. Guardian of Irrationalities. Hello. Hello, uwu. Just small pause on the accent. This is an accent that everyone's making me do. Garden of Irrationalities, welcome to the foxhole. Thank you for the follow. And now I'm gonna restart the accent. I mean, I'll call it a crash. It was a fail or something that caused the stream to go down. Well, when you say crash, though, Silverpaw, I mean, it sounds like my computer crashed and reset, or OBS crashed and had to like shut down, restart. I actually just hit stop stream, restart stream, and it's totally different. The stream crashed and went down, but not the program, not my computer, not Windows, not anything like that. Twitch being twitchy? Apparently, it's something about the site today that's really off.